Diabolical. You want to see some diabolical shit, right? This some diabolical shit right here. Let's roll it. This is diabolical.
Little girls never been touched like right there.
You okay? Stay in the. Can you stay out of the road? Stay out of the road. Can you stay out of the road?
Yeah.
Diabolical, because, you know, back in the days, we used to have mental health hospitals. We used to find your ass and lock your ass up.
There has been a drastic transformation in mental health treatment over the past century. In the 19th century, asylums were supposed to provide a tranquil environment to treat the patients.
Involuntarily, like, nigga, you crazy on the street like that? We gonna lock your ass up.
In the 19th century, the thought was that these people were disordered in their minds, and so that the treatment would be to put them in a place where they could learn how to think clearly and be in comfortable surroundings.
What'd you say?
I remember. Yeah, you gotta go, bro. Put him in the back. Hell yeah.
So the state psychiatric hospital system that started in Michigan and other states, the original intent was as an asylum. So the original state hospitals were called state asylums. And the idea is that people would go and be part of this curative environment, and the environment itself was supposed to be treatment. And so people would come to the environment, into these grand asylums, and states built asylums designed to be imposing and beautiful and awe-inspiring, and patients were supposed to get better just by being there.
By the 20th century, along with the rest of the nation, Michigan started moving away from the hospital system to a community mental health approach.
Augusta Hawkins, they had one. It's now the federal building. It should be the Ronald Reagan building.
Into the 20th century, late 19th, early 20th century, the noble idea of putting patients into hospitals for treatment stopped being as effective, partly because people didn't think that just putting somebody into a place was all that effective. Part of it was that the institution started to get more and more crowded. And some of that was because people didn't seem to be leaving after a few years. And with industrialization and people moving into cities and big extended families starting to fall apart, there were no places for people to go and no support systems, no community supports. So the hospitals started getting more and more crowded.
That was one, used to be a couple of them in LA. They used to lock your ass up until your ass get right.
The state began to shut them down.
People were very unhappy with state hospitals, and psychiatrists were also unhappy with state hospitals. They were not satisfied that patients were getting good care. And so there was a movement within psychiatry, a social psychiatry movement, that really wanted to see people taken care of in their communities, and also a movement within the political realm to try to get patients back out of the hospitals and into their communities.
Well, yeah, that's when, you know, they got caught up for doing all them experiments on them motherfuckers.
In 1965, there were 41 state-operated psychiatric hospitals and centers housing about 29,000 people, according to the state health department. By 2012, there were only 5 state-operated centers with 802 residents.
But like
having sex with them and all kind of shit.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, like, all right, we done called the cops on you like 3 or 4 times, right? Like, even when you're trying to be nice, like, as a civilian, like, you know he got some problems. This nigga keep pissing in my elevator.
The idea is you give people as much liberty as you can, that they should be in the least restrictive environment possible, that they should be able to live as close to normal lives as possible and have support only in the areas where they need it, in a way that isn't intrusive to what they would normally do. The disadvantage, of course, is if those services are not available, then patients don't get them. And so there are a lot of things that a hospital can do, that the state hospitals do for patients who just cannot make it in the community. They have housing support, obviously. They get 3 meals a day. They get their medications.
Yeah, like, what you gonna do, nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like the 3rd week he done came and pissed in your shit, and you like, you trying to stall him out. Like, call the cops, they can be like, yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock this nigga in.
So where did all the people go? Some experts say about half of the population transitioned into outpatient therapy and residential treatment. The other half, however, have ended up on the streets or in jails or in prisons. Hirschbein said it's hard to know, however.
There definitely are some people who are currently homeless who were at one time patients at Ypsi State or Northville. So there definitely are some.
Around as much
I used to know niggas used to have to go to the nut house for a 72-hour evaluation. Like, hey, what's the name? Oh, that nigga in the nut house. Did he just smoke Sharma? Yeah, that nigga went crazy, so they got to wait for him to go to the nut house.
It's hard to know if it's a direct correlation. There are so many things that have changed because the people are being arrested for different things, there's a different set of expectations around criminal conduct. The rules around drug offenses have really changed, and so the deinstitutionalization movement finished really before the criminalization of a lot of drugs. So it's hard to know if it's again a direct correlation.
You couldn't, if you wasn't fit, your ass got to stay, or your ass can go to jail or something like that. Yeah. But you had to go to the nut house, and they cut the funding for the nut house just so they can make more money. Trying to fight the homeless.
It happened, as you know, that under the guise of civil rights, there were rulings that people who did not represent a threat of violence to themselves or to anyone else could not be committed to an institution.
Situation. So they say, oh, we make more money trying to act like we fighting the homeless and make the homeless population bigger and more money for us because they act like we fighting it, but we're going to cut the mental health programs, which is really the problem.
And thus, a great many people were turned loose from institutions who did have mental problems, whether it was retardation or whatever. And there was no place for them at the local level. And in many instances, either no family or no family that wanted them. And there they are in the streets, and they present a problem also in the sense that in many instances, having walked away from an institution, they turn away from many efforts at help because they feel that it might get them back institutionalized.
That's definitely the problem, man.
Them motherfuckers wasn't on drugs.
Yeah. They were on drugs
at one point in time. That's mental health.
Now, I don't know what percentage of all of the people that are out there fall into that particular situation, but I do know that, from my experience as governor, that we tried at the state level to subsidize local treatment centers where they could live at home and be, with the development now of newer drugs and so forth, drugs in the good sense, that they could be outpatients. And this was coming along, although in some instances counties, just even with the state subsidy, would not take this up.
But even then, right, if you took away certain drugs and certain environments and stuff like that and put them in a better environment, they can come back, you know what I'm saying? Because their brain ain't...
Proper assistance.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Their brain ain't dead.
But this is a problem in which, unless they represent a threat to someone else, we're helpless to put them in an institution where they would receive the best of care and certainly have fine quarters and be fed and all.
What do you think about that?
I mean, the answer is that we need facilities and it costs money and we know where all the money is.
Thousands of people filled the streets of Los Angeles County today for the latest stop, the Fighting the Oligarchy tour. Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are making stops around the country, talking with crowds about, quote, how to take on the oligarchs and corporate interests. Fox's Matthew Seedorf has a story.
A sea of people shoulder to shoulder outside LA's City Hall. The largest crowd so far for New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There are people a half a mile away.
And Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders here on their nationwide tour called Fight Oligarchy.
Money in politics is the hands of oligarchy, Los Angeles.
We're fighting a president who undermines our Constitution every day.
Both Sanders and AOC targeting President Donald Trump.
Los Angeles.
We're fighting a president who undermines our Constitution every day.
Both Sanders and AOC targeting President Donald Trump.
A few days ago, ICE officials attempted to enter 2 LAUSD schools to target kids,
highlighting the president's immigration policies.
He is illegally abolishing agencies that Congress created.
and work by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency.
Like, if we want to get into politics, like Elon Musk and all these billionaires, we know how much they're worth. We know how many billionaires there are out there, and we know that they have the capabilities of making these changes, and they choose fucking not to.
Hell no, they can't make no changes.
There's an inequality emergency. Oxfam found the top 10 richest Americans got $365 billion richer in just the past year.
This really highlights America's inequality problem.
For 10 ordinary workers to earn what those 10 billionaires made in 1 year, they would have to work for 726,000 years. Now, imagine this was flipped. What if the richest 10 billionaires paid their fair share? A 3% tax on billionaire wealth would raise $50 billion just from the 10 richest Americans. That's enough to cover a year of food assistance for over 22 million people. But Republicans want to do the opposite.
It's a great bill. It's a massive tax cut.
It includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts benefiting the wealthy.
The legislation is basically a mugging conducted by the 1% against the rest of us.
We have to stop this inequality emergency. It's time to make the ultra-rich pay their fair share.
What do you mean they can't make changes? They're changing our shit daily.
Open property that they could definitely make facilities.
Nah, they got federal land that they can make facilities, which Trump already tried to do.
Number 3, we're opening up federal lands to build more homes, which is a great thing because home ownership is way inaccessible for a lot of people in this audience. And it's going to take some time. And one of the main reasons why President Trump won is because we were able to move the youth vote rather significantly and substantially because the Democrat Party, A, took younger voters for granted. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
And B, they did not have an optimistic, hopeful agenda for home ownership, for getting married and having children in this country. So I would like to see the Trump administration go even further and make it so that every young person in this country can have accessibility to be able to own a home. I think they should prohibit major funds like BlackRock from buying up private family homes so that we have to compete against them. And I'll just do another thing I'm privately lobbying for and publicly, because I'll say it here, is I don't think the Chinese Communist Party should be able to buy up farmland in the western part of the United States.
Absolutely.
And with that, single-family homes.
And the thing with a lot of millionaires and Elon Musk and things like that, they don't have a lot of money, they have a lot of assets, right? So what you telling Elon Musk, if they got millionaires, sell some of your assets, right? So you can give to people who don't work or things like that. As a businessman, right, when he bought Twitter, he had to borrow the money because he didn't have all the money. He had to borrow the money from the bank because his assets was worth as much, right?
How does billionaire Elon Musk fund his business acquisitions? A new layer of intrigue surrounded that question on Wednesday after the Wall Street Journal reported that Musk borrowed a whopping $1 billion from his rocket company SpaceX around the same time he purchased Twitter. The billion-dollar loan, backed by Musk's shares in SpaceX, was approved by the rocket company in October of 2022 and drawn down by Musk that same month. October is also when Musk acquired Twitter for $44 billion. He has since renamed the social media site X. Both SpaceX and X did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The Journal reported Musk paid the loan back shortly after he borrowed the money, returning $1 billion with interest to SpaceX in November. Musk has had arrangements with banks to borrow against his shares in his companies, including electric vehicle maker Tesla. The newspaper reported that in April of 2023, Tesla disclosed that it had further tightened rules around Musk using his stake in the company to borrow money. According to the Journal, the privately held SpaceX has served as a lender to Musk, adding that Musk is SpaceX's largest shareholder with a 42% stake and almost 79% of its voting power as of March.
So if you want these billionaires to pay more money, are you telling them to pay? You're telling them to sell their assets and sell their property and things like that and to help other people. And I think that's wrong.
I mean, I agree in certain aspects of it. It's like, yes, like, you know what I mean, helping people who don't work for the shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that case of old girl was like, yeah, motherfucker, I spent $1,200 on EBT this last week. Look what I'm fucking making. Like, that type of shit, I get that. But, like, I mean, I think, and this is, I don't have no type of political stance, right? I'm independent. So, just throw it out there. But
black people is. All black people is.
Yeah.
Man.
Like the whole healthcare aspect. Now, I ain't trying to take it down into this whole rabbit hole, but like for American citizens, yes, I agree that healthcare should be more affordable and there should be a program. You know what I mean? A lot of it is going out of the window with, like, you know, certain case what they say about the legals. I don't know. But, like, I think that, yeah, we should be more, you know, tight-knit on, you know, how we're spending our money with the healthcare, but I do think we should be provided that.
Like say a lot of people provide, right? America is a country that is spoiled, right? And we take advantage of certain laws and things like that, right? Like this woman right here. I'm glad you say, like, we should be able to give more to the poor. What do you think people like this should be receiving? Let's roll it.
This lady in here stealing with her kids. Oh, it's so obvious.
Don't touch us. Don't touch us, ma'am. Don't touch us. Don't touch us, ma'am. Don't touch me, my kids. We gotta go. Can't walk out here with this stuff. Ma'am, don't touch us. Move, ma'am. Can't walk out here with this stuff, man. Let's go. Can't walk out here. You can have that. You ain't getting this. Come on. We gotta pick the basket up. Yeah, come. You better go home. You gonna get hurt today. My kids gotta go to school. I gotta do what I gotta do for my kids. I don't care. You better go on. Go get that in the car. Go ahead and go. I'll keep trying to get this other bag.
Hey, you can't steal.
You better go on, girl. I don't care about the
They gonna see your face and you going to jail.
I don't care. Give me this, man. Let it go. Let it go. You better get out of here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You're trying to take our stuff.
You better let our stuff go. You better go. You better go.
To jail.
You better get off my basket. Y'all can have that. I don't give a damn. Y'all can keep that. Come on, let's go, y'all. Hurry up.
You going to jail. I got your face on.
Girl, get off my face, little girl. Come on. You better stop. Get the fuck on. Get the fuck on recording.
She said I would do.
So had a hand.
She said I would do anything for my kids. I said, well, bitch, why don't you get a job? I said, you ever thought about that? You ever thought about employment for your kids?
Yo.
Right. So what do you think people like that deserve? You think people like that deserve like free handouts and stuff like that? Because evidently, you know, since she's taking advantage of the system, she probably got a car. She's taking her kids out there to steal, right? And putting them in jeopardy and harm's way. She putting our guns in the store.
I mean, I don't think that necessarily she handled it in the best way, like by pulling out her handgun. But at the same time, too, we as a society, like you say, to get a job, it's not necessarily that easy, though. I'm very fortunate to have my finances in order and get scraped by. But the industry and everything else, like even as a straight white male, it's not nearly as easy to get jobs anymore. And it has nothing to do with race, gender, or even religions anymore. It has everything to do with it is upper class versus lower class, and that they are taking all the jobs away using AI.
Mr. Yang, your signature policy is to give every adult in the United States $1,000 a month, no questions asked. That's right. I think that's like $3.2 trillion a year. How would you do that?
Sorry?
How would you do that?
Oh, so it's difficult to do if you have companies like Amazon, trillion-dollar tech companies, paying literally zero in taxes while they're closing 30% of our stores. Now, we need to put the American people in position to benefit from all these innovations in other parts of the economy. And if we had a value-added tax at even half the European level, it would generate over $800 billion in new revenue, which combined with the money in our hands, it would be the trickle-up economy from our people, families, and communities up. We would spend the money and it would circulate through our regional economies and neighborhoods, creating millions of jobs, making our families stronger and healthier. We'd save money on things like incarceration, homelessness services, emergency room health care, and just the value gains from having a stronger, healthier, mentally healthier population would increase GDP by $700 billion. This is the move that we have to make, particularly as technology is now automating away millions of American jobs. It's why Donald Trump is our president today, that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on through the economy.
They created things like Uber that created millions of jobs, but then they want to put automatic cars on the street and get rid of those millions of jobs. So where do those millions of people without jobs go now?
But look, hey, to be honest though, man, hey, white men have been getting hated almost as much as niggas for like the last 3 to 4 years. Like, you know what I'm saying, with the feminist movement.
I would like to think I'm the first generation to finally say it's not even about color anymore. It is quite literally rich versus poor. It's assholes, you know.
Can I ask you a question? What happened to horses? You ever rode a horse?
I've ridden a horse before.
You ever like got around as a means of transportation for a horse?
Hell no.
No, but I've never been afforded that luxury either.
but
I mean, you tell me I own a horse and it's an option, like, yeah, I'll go, yeah. Like, fuck yeah. I'm going to take the horse on a Tuesday. Let's go.
But you say, but the same thing.
Yeah, save some gas.
But the same thing with AI, right? Everything advances, but back in the day, the horse was the only way to travel. You know what I'm saying? Now you have different ways to travel, planes, cars, and things like that. You got to get with the time. So AI, if you were, AI was going to come eventually anyway, you know? So what happens is it's going to be some type of, like I say, new world order, because like I say, it's going to be too much technology, and whoever owns the information owns the, you know what I'm saying, basically the world. So it's going to be a race for information now, right?
Right.
And whoever got the most information, that's why Donald Trump trying to build energy and things like that. And other motherfuckers say, like, we don't want to build energy, we need to save the planet. Well, China and them not doing that. China building big ass factories so they can have all this AI and all this power to run the AI.
Here, in this remote northwestern corner of China, is a town at the center of the country's AI ambitions.
We are going to go there to see how is the construction going and basically get a better understanding of how these data centers fit in with the overall strategy for China to build its AI capabilities.
The Xinjiang region is sensitive. China's been accused of human rights abuses against its ethnic Uyghur population. Foreign journalists who go here are monitored.
There seems to be a white car following us. I'm not sure what it is.
This barren area is becoming central to China's push for AI supremacy over the US. A Bloomberg News investigation has revealed these data centers aim to install more than 115,000 high-end US-designed chips. Chips which are supposed to be banned from entering China.
I found that there's one local government in Xinjiang which approved more than 30 investment projects late last year. And these investment projects all entailed using high-end chips from NVIDIA.
These are chips that China has not been able to access for multiple years. The documents contain no explanation of how they would get the chips. You can only legally send those chips to China with a US government license.
So, are these companies bluffing? Or can Chinese data centers readily get their hands on the world's most restricted semiconductors?
So we don't get with the times, you know, and things like that. And
yes, but to leave people behind, I understand getting with the times, but when times change as fast and as rapidly as they have been with the boom of technology and AI, if times are changing that fast, then that means people need assistance. That means we live in a world where people can be taken care of. We have the abilities to grow crops, and we have robots that can do shit for us. So why are we not using those things to help take care of those people until we can find a place to put them, as opposed to just going, sorry, you don't have a job, guess you get no money, now you get no food, and now you're losing your house, and now it's like, help.
How that shit work.
I'm aware that I know that that's not how it works, but however, the answer is it can work that way. It just takes enough people to band together and go, this is what's happening.
Can I ask you a question? And what society or what time in history have this ever happened?
What we're going through right now?
No, when the rich, or like you say, with wealthy,
come to one.
and just take care of the poor, the people that's not doing this. Like, where have this ever worked or ever been done in society?
It hasn't, but that's why. But that's why you have continuous messiahs, prophets, speakers, whatever you want to call throughout history. What regardless of your religion or your belief on these people, they all had one simple message, whether it's Jesus Christ, Gandhi, Buddha, Allah, Malcolm X, Martin Luther, Tupac, Nipsey Hussle. All these people are simply saying one thing: we are in poverty, we need help. The system is not working the way that it is, and it's okay to start over. You remember that we started the United States of America by leaving England. We created a Declaration of Independence as to why we left that place, and we just simply said, we're going to try something different. And people forget that in our history, the founding fathers said that
they were all
we live in a capitalist society, right? And
but we only live in that society because we allow it to live in it. How many times do we have to prove in history books that a revolution, whether it's the Civil War or whether it's World War I or II or whatever else, but if you take enough oppression and if you oppress people enough times and you back us into a corner like a dog, we will bark and bite back, and at that point we change the times. Why not just do it now and make it right before it gets wrong?
I got a question. Right now,
I hear what he's saying. I just feel like it's so much division.
Tupac said it in 96 or 93.
So much division. Even if you get a motherfucker like this saying that mind, it's gonna be this party of people over here like, you fucking crazy weirdo. Hell no, that's
sure.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like that's the main.
But here's the thing: is that I'm somebody who's willing to say. Even if you have a different viewpoint than me, I'm still fighting for a solution that hopefully also benefits you. Obviously, I have my viewpoints and my opinions of what I think is right and wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm also making my decisions of right or wrong of, would it hurt the other person? For example, you have two extreme sides in political war right now, right? You have the left and the right, or whatever you want to call them, but at the end of the day, you have one side screaming, don't tell me what to do and let me have my guns, and you have the other side screaming, let me be me and just don't shoot me with your guns. But because one side is quite literally...
I don't let you talk enough. I don't let you talk enough.
I wanted to bring up and I didn't. But no. You was on the road for a second.
He was on the road for a second. Now it's time to tell the truth. Right?
All right. I don't want to get into that because we only got a limited.
All right. No. We can edit this part.
I'll come back.
We can edit this part out. We can edit this part out and then put it on a separate video because
let's go. My
YouTube love this, right? They love this, right? Because I never had a chance to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is, right, in a society, right, it's based on like our society, right? We live in a capitalist society, right? And, right, capitalism have made more millionaires, have brought more people out of poverty than any other system in the world, right? And when you say one side saying, let me have my guns, right? When you say have my guns in the Second Amendment, guns are for self-defense.
Right, you're correct.
Now,
I'm all for them, by the way.
You want to talk about shooting people, the last couple of weeks or the months and things like that, it's mostly been the left shooting people, right? It's been transgenders, right? It's been so-called...
I don't care who's shooting who. I want the shooting to stop because at the end of the day, the shooting is not the answer.
Listen, right? But you said one side. You didn't say.
I don't want to be a politician.
No.
Then I'd have to sell it to the side.
You said one side say, let me keep my guns, and you said one side say don't shoot me. So when you said one side, you automatically politicized it. You know what I'm saying? Because you already said you said one side is this and one side is that. So you automatically said.
I'm not saying nothing about that. There's a side that's assuming somebody's going to shoot.
So listen, right? So these millionaires, right, that you so-called say they can do more and things like that. How many jobs have they created? How many people? How many communities have they changed, right? How many?
How many? Okay, so but here's the thing. While I understand your point of view, how many lives have they changed? How many communities have they created? I would offer the question, how many more communities could they have created? How many more lives could they have changed? Why did they need another yacht, another boat? Because here's the thing, if you have $500 billion like Elon Musk, you can afford to do anything in this world, including buying little humans for whatever gross reasons you want, but you have that kind of money. That's the part I'm getting at.
Elon Musk,
when you have that kind of money, you don't need the money anymore.
Elon Musk,
so give the money back.
Elon Musk don't have money. He has assets, right?
That's not necessarily true though, because there is a value to assets.
Can I make this point though? Like, can you agree that like doing multiple things is kind of draining?
Doing
Like,
multiple what, careers and stuff?
Just multiple careers
Sure.
throughout the day.
Yeah.
Doing multiple things is kind of draining, right? It's like you can do only so much. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it don't matter how much money you have, bro. You can only still do only so much
Correct.
as one person. Like, you know what I mean? You could be a billionaire. You could be a.
So then the answer.
Like, so it's like, I'm like, do we not give any man grace? Like when they get over a certain.
So check it. If I was in those, if I had the
Let me
money.
give you some things Elon Musk done, right? Elon Musk, right? When there was certain wars and certain national disasters in America and overseas, he donated satellites, right, so people can communicate, right? When the astronauts got stuck in space, right? He sent the spaceship when other presidents wouldn't do it, right? He sent the spaceship, right?
Now
he also invented neurological things, right? You know what I'm saying, for people that's seeing impaired, hearing impaired, and things like that, right? He also does a lot of things that's for the good, as far as the good shit. I forgot what they call that shit when you're philanthropist, right? He do a lot of good things, right? But what you're saying for one man is, right, because he have success, right, and he built success, right, you want him to share it, right, with people. Some people probably don't deserve it, because we live in America. Everyone have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, that Elon Musk have. Everyone has the opportunity to become.
How many millions of dollars was Albert Einstein worth? How many millions of dollars was Oppenheimer worth? How many millions of dollars was Thomas Edison worth? All of these people were inventors who created something and donated it to the United States because.
But the currency in the game wasn't.
But it's not about. It's about what.
But the argument there is that time is always going to change. It's never going to be the same. So why not just make it so that in these 100 years on this planet that we all keep saying that we all are allowed to live? Why are we not just making sure that everybody gets to enjoy it?
It's impossible. It's impossible.
I know it's impossible, but why not try to make it better?
You can other countries are in a third world country, and we are
not there. There's always going to be something that's considered a third world country, though, that's because it's always the shift of political power and corruption.
America has mastered capitalism.
Can I ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
How many countries, or how many different countries, is like, say it's 200 countries, right? Out of them 200 countries, how many of them people would rather be homeless in America than living in their own country?
I mean, I don't have the numbers, statistics for that, so I can't.
Homeless in America.
I can't speak on that.
It's I would say yes a lot back in 2020, 2021, 2022.
That's all about perspective too, though. Because think about it, there's also tribes that live off the map with spears and stuff still that would not want to come.
America is the free. Look, if you say everybody trying to change America, right? And trying to change it, right? America is the best and the freest country in the world, right? You have more rights in America than you have any other country.
That's not necessarily true, because there's about 49 other countries that have the same exact freedoms as we do. I believe more than 49.
They don't have which one have a constitution? Or about a Bill of Rights?
So many of them don't need it because their system is working better than ours. Here's the thing is, when our Declaration and Constitutions were created, our founding fathers made it publicly known that they were against having these things written down on paper because, per Benjamin Franklin's words, the second it's written down on paper, it's no longer a constitution, it's a law. The thing is a constitution and a Declaration of Freedom was not something that was ever supposed to be put down on a piece of paper, because in words, you cannot express what it means to be free. The Declaration of Independence, the Declaration of Independence was originally created because our founding fathers were writing a letter to the King of England as to why they left to come here.
That's why they had to.
Wait, to cut it short, right? We can get that later. We can get that later, right? I'll ask a question. You said there's 49 other countries have the same.
I don't know if the number's 49. Don't quote me on the number. I know, but there are others that have just as many.
Just name two.
I mean, I'll okay.
Like I think Australia.
Nah, Australia don't know.
I'm gonna use ChatGPT real quick.
No one has.
Give me a list of 10 countries that have the same exact freedoms and rights as the United States of America.
We gotta write this up.
Freedom and rights. That's different from laws. And
Okay, so then how do you want me to phrase it?
All right, let's
Because the answers are Canada, Germany, Australia,
Germany don't even have freedom. Canada don't even have freedom of speech.
United Kingdom, and Sweden.
Canada don't even have freedom of speech. They just,
I think Sweden.
Other countries include
Sweden don't have freedom of speech.
New Zealand, Denmark, Switzerland, Finland.
We up out of here.